What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna go ahead and mansplain some shit to you while I'm manspreading. You can't tell I'm manspreading though, because there's a laptop there. But fucking everything is broken. Society is broken. Families are broken. Everything's broken. Let me explain. You've been lied to. You've been lied to by a corporate media about everything. You know, and you're aware of it probably on a lot of it, right? Like, everybody knows about 9/11, right? 9/11's obviously bullshit. Those buildings exploded from the top down. You're going to tell me some terrorists that didn't even know how to fly airplanes took over a plane with some box cutters and then flew them into, you know, the 100th story, and for some reason, a full 100 stories above that, the building just starts exploding and collapsing down onto itself at free fall speed. Physicists, architects, pilots, everybody's saying it's bullshit. None of that happened like that. We all know it didn't happen like that. Dick Cheney that day was on the phone with NORAD telling the F-16s to stand down. And then he took the tape. Norman Mineta, the Secretary of Transport at the time, took the tape and testified under oath that Dick Cheney took that tape of him telling the F-16s to stand down, chopped it up into pieces, and left it into multiple wastebaskets on multiple floors. So you want to tell me Dick Cheney didn't have something to do with 9/11? You want to tell me that? You're an idiot. You're a goddamn idiot. You think that Osama bin Laden had anything to do with it? Where's his body? Oh, we threw it over the side. Yeah, you know why? Because he'd been dead already for 10 years. Everybody knows, okay? It's all bullshit. You've been lied to about everything. Look at JFK, right? Back and to the left, right? That shot came from the front in the right. The grassy knoll. Everybody, all the eyewitnesses said it. Okay, so you know that shit's bullshit, right? That's easy, right? But what about everything else? Everything else is bullshit too. Our entire political system is bullshit. Our entire monetary system is bullshit. It's all bullshit. You've been lied to. None of it's real. Society, family, art, all of it, it's broken. It's all just corporate garbage. Rehashed, being sold to you as your own feces for you to consume. It's just disgusting. Let's get into specific deals. Women's lib, okay? Listen, I think that, you know, everybody should be treated equally and fairly, okay? I'm not, you know, advocating that, you know, we live in some kind of society where, you know, women are like, you know, slaves to men or anything like that. That's, you know, that's, but you know, people are going to misinterpret what I'm saying about that. The simple fact is women and men are not equal. They are physically and mentally not equal, statistically. Should they be treated equally? Sure, absolutely. Should they have the same opportunities starting out in life? You know, if a woman wants to go to college, sure, go to college. A man wants to go to college, sure, go to college. They should be able to do whatever they want to do. But statistically, we are not equal, okay? Just think about the design of it, okay? Men are designed to put their DNA into women. That is what happens. Women don't inject their DNA into men. That's not what occurs. So, I mean, just simply by the physics of it, we are not equal. We are different. That's just a fact. Now, you can be upset about that. You can say it's not fair. You can say whatever. Guess what? Reality is not fair. You know, some people are born tall and beautiful, and some people are born short and ugly, and some people are born brilliant, and some people are born stupid, and some people get vaxxed with aluminum and fluoride and mercury and become stupid after the fact, and their parents do it to them while they're an infant, and there's nothing they can do about it. Life isn't fair. Reality isn't fair. So stop fucking crying like a fucking snowflake, buck up, deal with the reality that you're given. It's not fair. You know, this women's lib movement, think about what's happened to families and the family structure since the 60s, right? Since this whole thing started. Women now have overwhelmingly every advantage over men in society, monetarily, in every single way. They do. They have the advantage. Look at the number in schools right now. More women are graduating than men. More women are getting better work roles than men. Everything, right? And what's that doing? How's that benefiting society? It's not. The divorce rate's higher than it's ever been. More and more kids are being raised by single parents now than ever before. You know, it's like how, you know, and we know the psychology on that. You know, the kids who come from broken homes psychologically overwhelmingly have disadvantages for kids who don't. And it's not fair, but that's the reality. Their parents screwed up, they're not together, and now those kids got to suffer. That's what divorce is. That's what, you know, that's what happens to those kids. Men's DNA is inserted into women, and it's stored in the brain of the woman indefinitely. Every man any woman's ever been with, his DNA is in that woman's brain forever. There's a bunch of scientific studies about this. Now, people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to hear about it. It's not fair. They're fucking snowflakes, but that's the reality. That's the fucking science. you know? And when you wonder why, you know, so many women are crazy now after having like 100 different partners and all kinds of conflicting DNA and stuff, it's like, well, come on, you know? And the dudes are just as crazy. Why? Because our food supply is poisoned, our water supply is poisoned. Something like 94%, I just read a study, 94% of the tap water in the United States has plastic fibers in it. Plastic fibers, that means BPAs, that means hormone disruptors. Why do you think everybody's acting like a goddamn fag all the time? Because they're drinking plastic. You're drinking plastic, which disrupts your hormones, makes men feminine, makes women masculine. We're screwing up our bodies. We're screwing up our brains with this poison in our environment. You know, gluten-free, it's not the gluten, it's the glyphosate. In the United States, we overwhelmingly use GMO wheat, which we hose with glyphosate poison. Hose it down right before harvest so they won't have to clean the combine blades. And everybody's looking for, oh, gluten-free this, gluten-free that. You know, there are people who have gluten intolerance. It's a real thing, okay? But it's a, you know, what, 2-3% of society or something? Now everything's gluten-free? Do you think maybe it could be the poison we're spraying on the wheat? With the, you know, and guess what other product has wheat? It's not just bread. It's not just tortillas, right? What about beer? You know, how many people are drinking beer all night long? Every Friday and Saturday, sometimes every night, right? And it's all just filled with glyphosate, carcinogenic, poisonous glyphosate, which has been banned in Europe for good reason. You know, you got to look at the statistics, okay? Because people aren't equal, the sexes aren't equal, the races aren't equal, and that's not to say that they shouldn't be treated equally or treated fairly out of the gate. They should be. Everybody should have an equal opportunity in life, I think. I mean, that's great. That's an ideal to strive for. It's not the reality. It's never going to be the reality, unfortunately. There's always going to be people born into an economic reality and an economic advantage that other people didn't have. There's always going to be people who ended up, you know, accidentally huffing some kind of industrial cleaner and getting brain damage at age, you know, 3 or 4 or whatever. And, you know, life isn't fair. It's never going to be fair. There's always going to be people who are victimized in some way and people who are given an advantage in some way. So, but, you know, to ignore the reality of the situation that we're in and to pretend that everybody is created equal, which is just not the case. You know, some people have genetic advantages, whether they're mental advantages, athletic advantages. I think probably some people are genetically better at handling money. That could certainly be, right? I mean, why not? I mean, you want to... The natural selection of the human race at this point is so twisted. What we've been bred to be good at and good for, you know, is changed over the centuries. You know, at one point, I'm sure, you know, having, you know, physical prowess was really key, you know, and the bigger the dude, the bigger the muscles, the more likely he was going to be able to procreate and survive and keep his family alive, etc., right? But, you know, in the last couple thousand years, it hasn't really been about who's the biggest and the strongest.